The story starts with our hero called Dagon being intimidated by classmate bullies. Our hero, tired of being bothered, tells them to stop, which caused the anger of one of the bullies, who grabbed our hero and gave him a bad beatdown. A bully's friend tells him to stop because the teacher is coming. He informed him too late though, because he caught them immediately. Dagon thought he would help him, but the teacher acts like a Burke who saw nothing, asking them to stop playing and take a seat to start the class. During the class, the bullies start putting sticky notes on our hero's back that said, "I don't have a mom." Dagon, who was devastated, had thoughts about none would help him. Finally the class ends and the break starts. Then a bully who enters into the classroom sees the note in the back of our hero, and feeling some empathy for him, then takes the other guy who attacked the boy first and beats him up. Dagon felt shocked that someone helped him, and realized he was a total loser. So he chose to become stronger and started to train every day in the Saitama style, and months later the results of his hard work started to show. He began to hunt down the bullies of his class, but he ended to collapse and abandoning the school because of that. So he started to work part-time at a store and getting prepared for his exam. In a scenario change, we got introduced to a woman who talks about the violence at schools, and says that even when some ijam, which means bullies, get reprimanded, they won't stop, and the best way to solve it is to attack fire with fire. For this, a secretly placed bully would be get in charge of putting others in order, and the name of this project would be Ijam in charge of Ijam. Now back with Dagon, who was at the store at the time, studying for the exam. A big guy with tattoos enters in the store with his girlfriend to buy beer packs and cigarettes. But Dagon knows he's a high school student, and as a good citizen he asks him for his ID card. So the guy acts like dumb, telling the old story about leaving it at home. Our hero is not stupid, so he says he cannot sell that stuff to the guy, as this one starts to throw the money. Dagon asks if he doesn't understand that he's not selling anything, and the furious guy takes our hero from the shirt. Just when the store's owner comes out and tells Dagon to solve the things with the guy outside. Now out of the store, the guy has Dagon cornered to the wall and asks him if he wants to get beat up. Time when Dagon tells him that he has 3 seconds to release him. And the guy's girlfriend starts laughing, so the furious guy tries to smack him down, but Dagon with a single hit cuts his lights. The scared girl helps her boyfriend, and the guy finally wakes up and notices that Dagon is like nothing happened. The wacko tells his girl to call his mates to teach Dagon a lesson, and the girl runs to call them while the guy starts saying stuff and threatening him to make some time before they arrive. But Dagon, now tired of foolishness, takes him from the neck, and the guy in pain just falls on his knees. When his pals arrive, they start laughing at him, and a fat guy appears trying to hit our hero, but Dagon gives him such a sick smack that puts him on the ground unconscious. Crazy hits start to rain then, and the last guy remaining was a bald guy who recognizes our hero and asks him if he's the Dagon who went to school with him. Knowing he was the leader of the Hinchin Zone, he just asks him for pardon, when our hero advises them that if they come back to annoy at the store, he will kill them. Dagon, who is now walking home, bumps into the girl of the foundation, where she introduces herself and tells everything about the project to our hero, inviting him to join it, but then Dagon tells her it's a complete stupidity. But the woman tells back that she's been investigating him and that he's the most suitable person for the job, and that he's more desperate than anyone else. The director whispers in his ear that with the project he could fix the mistakes of his past. Time when Dagon thinks about it again and finally accepts the deal. In the next scene, we see our hero at school introducing himself to his new classmates, and the girls fall for him. The bullies of the class get jealous and already have him in sight. Dagon sits and says hi to the guy aside who's called Kim Minso and chat for a bit, but get interrupted by a fat guy called Hujon who hits Minso in the head and tells him to go for his sandwich, cause he was now the new errand boy since his friend had left the school. But Minso refuses since the class is about to start, and the furious Hujon starts beating him while Dagon watches how Minso is hidden, wanting to help, but he remembers that he's unable because of the rules of the project. Hujon asks Dagon if he wants to go with Minso, which Dagon replies saying that one errand boy is enough, asking him for the money. Hujon grabs Dagon from the head saying that he has to pay with his own money, and if he doesn't have parents to give him some. Dagon immediately hits Hujon and says the stupid rules don't matter because punches are the king of the school. Everyone is stunned by the beatdown Dagon just gave to Hujon, when Hongmin comes up cursing our already mad hero furiously, and Dagon just beats him up. We see our hero saying after a while if a sandwich was so tasty to end like this, and Hujon asks if he feels the boss for beating them, but that he wasn't the class leader. And right after Manjo, the class 1 leader, arrives and tells our hero that he made a big fuss on his first school day. Manjo says he won't fight, but Dagon, with the fighting experience he has, sees that Manjo has a surprise attack posture, saying that it's good manners to say his name. Just when our hero was about to answer, Manjo tries to kick him in the crotch, but it's a catch because Manjo strikes him with a punch in the face. Dagon rapidly learns his attack pattern, which consists in confusing the adversary, and once he's tired just finishes him with a punch that knocks him out. The next scene, we can see the director of the project watching the teacher's room waiting to see how our hero's doing on his first day, and we see a girl called Ina watching the director while she goes questioning why is she there. Back with Dagon, we see he's threatening Manjo and his friends that if they annoy anyone again he will destroy them. As soon as Manjo was defeated, the whisper ran to the other classes, in which were shown some guys watching the video of Manjo's beatdown, and we get introduced to the Class 3 leader called Sinsango, who is anxious for meeting our hero. The second day of school starts and we see Dagon striving on his studying to have a new life type, while we now see Manjo and his folks talking about the other class leaders that will come to fight with our hero because he was now the Class 1 leader. And then the leader of Class 2 gets into the classroom, a guy called Kim Yong-young, who starts laughing at Manjo for being defeated, and Manjo, who is mad, gets up to fight, but he's interrupted by Dagon, who says they're making noise and not letting him study. The leader of Class 2 goes for Dagon to annoy him, but Dagon takes his hand and presses it so hard that Kim starts to cry and then tries to hit him, but Dagon knocks him out with a single punch and with a sadistic face tells everyone to leave. Some minutes later, the leader of Class 3 called Sinsango goes where Dagon is and after a long chat challenges him to a fight with him after school. After a while we see Dagon and Minso sitting at the dining hall. While eating, they're observed by everyone, where Manjo and his mates take seat with our hero. During the meal, Manjo tells Dagon to be careful with Sinsango because he already have fought him, and he was giving a beatdown, but when he thought everything was over, Sinsango applied the dishonorable move of destroying his nuts, after which Sinsango accepted the defeat, but without it he would be massacred. A bit later, some Insango's henchmen start provocating our hero, and just when he was mad enough to beat them, he remembers a conversation with the director in which she said that if he does a good job he would receive great benefits, and remembers that the rules of the project are not just to keep them under control but also to still stand, and he would be kicked out to his previous lifestyle with the littlest problem. So Dagon prefers to not get in trouble and frees the guy living the dining hall in a bad mood to take some fresh air, but then runs into the same previous guy and knowing them alone takes him from the neck. But just before mushing him, the guy tells him the rule of not beating other classes members before defeating the class leader. Anyways, Dagon doesn't matter and mushes him before telling him to carry him to Sinsango's. The guy explains he's having fun with his custom boxing bags, but our hero is guessing that he's actually beating other students, so he runs to Class 3, where finds Sinsango punching weak students, and now full of angry Dagon tells him to not attack so weak people but strong ones, and then he starts beating up Sinsango's friends to be in the same condition. After thrashing them, Sinsango realizes our hero's not a common person, and asks others to move the tables to have better space for fighting, when the fight news spread out and everyone's going to see it. When the fight finally starts, Sinsango starts throwing jabs and hook strikes to our hero without success, who rapidly learns his pattern and after throws a direct punch so powerful that Sinsango can barely block, rapidly starts attacking with direct hits and low kicks that he can barely resist. A change of scenario let us see a camera that nothing more than the Foundation's president was observing with. Sinsango, who was already weak for the pain in one of his legs, wasn't able to attack anymore, so he got cornered and